LangGraph memory is not magic. In this video, we will start with the whole graph, define what one user turn means, explain why some workflows need multiple turns, and then separate checkpointing from memory policy. The short version is, checkpointing saves state between turns. Memory policy decides what state should matter next. Here is the whole workflow. A user message enters the graph. The graph loads saved state for that thread. A start turn step resets scratch fields. Then the graph either routes the message, resolves a pending clarification, calls a manual search tool, asks another question, or stops. One turn is one user message plus the graph work triggered by that message. You can also think of it as one superstep from input to pause or final response. If the graph can answer or safely stop, the turn ends there. Sometimes one turn is not enough because the user message is underspecified. If someone asks, "How do I save this for later?" the bot should not guess what this means. It should ask a clarification, save the pending question, and wait for the next user turn. Memory can make an agent feel smarter. But if it remembers the wrong things, old scratch data can leak into a new answer. Good agent design is not just remembering more. It is remembering the right workflow context and resetting everything else. First, agent state is the data shape your graph can carry. Second, the checkpointer saves and loads that state. Third, thread ID chooses which saved conversation thread to resume. Those pieces provide persistence. They do not define product behavior by themselves. A useful mental model is two buckets. Per turn scratch fields should reset every turn, tool result, retry count, and final response. Pending workflow state may survive, a pending clarification, the original vague question, and the reason the system asked for clarification. At the start of each user turn, the graph loads the checkpoint for the thread. Then a start turn step clears scratch fields. Only intentional pending workflow state survives long enough to guide the next action. Imagine a printer manual support bot. The user asks, "How do I save this for later?" That is too vague, so the bot asks, "What printer item do you want to save, such as a scan preset, print profile, or network setting?" The graph saves that pending clarification. On the next turn, the user says, "Scan preset." That phrase is not a complete manual search query by itself. But combined with the pending question, the graph can resolve it into, "How do I save a scan preset for later reuse?" The graph should not treat the entire chat history as trusted evidence. The prior turn helps resolve intent. The manual search tool still needs retrieved evidence before answering. That boundary keeps conversation flow helpful without turning memory into a source of truth. The boilerplate is small: compile the graph with a checkpointer and pass a thread ID in the config. The developer-owned core is the policy, which fields survive, which fields reset, when pending state is cleared, and what memory is saved for the next action. Checkpointing gives persistence. Memory policy gives control. If your agent has memory, design the turn boundary first, load state, reset scratch, preserve only intentional pending context, then act.